Did Adolf Hitler have a son? It's a contentious subject because a real candidate for son of the Führer existed, and even today that man's claim hasn't been totally disproved. It's no secret that Hitler liked children. He was Uncle Adolf to many of the children of his top ministers, and was indeed a godfather to many of them, and was photographed and filmed often with the children of Martin Bormann, Josef Goebbels, and other Nazi bigwigs, particularly at his private home, the Berghof in southern Bavaria. The children liked him also. But zero evidence has ever surfaced that he fathered a child with his long-term girlfriend and eventual wife Eva Braun. This has led to much speculation concerning Hitler's sexuality or sexual health, much of it really stemming from the minds of Allied propagandists seeking to demean the German leader for understandable reasons during a world war. But Hitler did have one period in his life when he was relatively free to do what he liked regarding relations with the opposite sex: World War I. Hitler served throughout World War I as an infantryman on the Western Front, much of that time in France and Belgium. During periods out of the front line, German soldiers enjoyed leave in the small French and Belgian towns and villages, and inevitably some struck up relationships with local women. The results were plenty of illegitimate children. One such child was Jean-Marie Loret, born Jean-Marie Lobjoy. In 1948, when his mother Charlotte was on her deathbed, she told him something startling. Jean-Marie knew that his father was a German soldier, but had no other details. However, Charlotte confessed that his father had been none other than Adolf Hitler. Such was the shocking nature of this bombshell that Jean-Marie's wife reportedly left him soon after. So the first question is, could Hitler have known Charlotte Lobjoy? According to German historian Werner Maser, the relationship had begun in 1916, when Charlotte had met Hitler at Primont. The relationship had turned sexual, and Charlotte had followed Hitler's unit via places like Seboncourt, Férun, Wavre, and Noyelles-les-Sechins, all in northern France, through to the autumn of 1917 and to Ardroy in Belgium, also in 1917. Charlotte's sister confirmed that Charlotte had had a relationship with a German soldier when she was 16 years old, but she said emphatically that it wasn't Hitler. She had seen him many times in 1917 to 18, and his face did not resemble Hitler's in the slightest. There is also the problem of Hitler's attitude towards French women. He was noted by his comrades as violently against fraternization and considered soldiers who had relationships with French women to have, quote, no German sense of honor, end quote. It's also been pointed out that a soldier of so low rank as Hitler, who only rose to the rank of lance corporal, could not have taken a lover with him when his unit moved locations, presumably settling her into accommodation behind the lines after each move. Perhaps one point which has probably pushed this along a bit further than it should have been was the interest that Hitler had in young women for his sexual partners. Hitler was only ever interested in women considerably younger than himself, and in 1918 Lobjoy was around 16 or 17, whereas Hitler was 29 years old. The reason why this story hasn't been killed off is because of some intriguing details concerning the Loret family in World War II. In 1936, Jean-Marie had joined the French army. By the time World War II broke out, he was a staff sergeant and was taken prisoner by the Germans and released soon afterwards. During the German occupation of France, Jean-Marie Loret, having taken his stepfather's surname, worked for the French police in a management role. He would also later claim that he got his job on Hitler's order, but no evidence exists to back this up. However, he certainly held a very good position in the police when only in his 20s. This doesn't quite add up, and his full relationship with the Germans has also never been properly explored. Loret himself later claimed in the 1970s that before being made police chief in the city of San Quentin, he was taken to Gestapo headquarters in Paris and subjected to a lengthy interrogation. So is there any evidence that Hitler knew of the Lorets during World War II? Well, sort of. Hitler's loyal valet, SS Obersturmbannführer or Lieutenant Colonel Heinz Linge, has provided some evidence. He was beside Hitler daily from 1933 until the Führer's death in April 1945. After surviving Soviet captivity, Linge wrote about his service to Hitler. In his book, Linge claimed that on the 24th of June 1940, Hitler asked Heinrich Himmler, the Reichsführer SS, to locate Charlotte and Jean-Marie Loret. No further details appear to exist concerning Linge's assertion, and he doesn't seem to have been questioned about this by journalists. Loret also claimed that Hitler sent his mother, Charlotte, gifts of money during the Second World War, but again there is no documentary evidence to support this. In the days before DNA testing, establishing paternity was a more imprecise business than today. The University of Heidelberg conducted a paternity test on Loret in the 1970s, but could only establish, based on several factors, that, quote, at best, Loret could be Hitler's son, end quote. After a brief period of international celebrity in the 1970s, Jean-Marie Loret, the father of 3 children, died in 1985 at the age of 66. Efforts have subsequently been made to properly establish Loret's paternity, notably in 2008 when Belgian journalist Jean-Paul Mulders travelled across Europe and to the US to collect DNA from Hitler's known living relations. He then obtained a sample of Loret's DNA from postcard stamps. The DNA test showed that Loret was not related to Hitler. In 2018, a Russian television channel conducted an interview with Philippe Loret, supposedly one of Jean-Marie's sons. This person claims to be Hitler's grandson. Again, DNA testing was to be conducted, but so far no results have been released. The 2 DNA tests mentioned have surprisingly failed to put the matter of Jean-Marie Loret's paternity to rest, leaving just enough doubt that some people believe him to have been Hitler's son, however unlikely that may have been. Many thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share, and also visit my audiobook channel, War Stories with Mark Felton. You can also help to support both of my channels at PayPal and Patreon, details in the description box below.